We've seen chute deployments that again have been mounted too low, and they lifted the back of the car up and they've flipped the car over. And again, the drivers are okay because there's good safety equipment there, but you really don't want your car upside down at 200 miles an hour. It's not a lot of fun. Is it, Brian?
No. Hey guys, I'm here at the Hondata booth. I'm here with Doug Macmillan. He does a lot of the calibration on the Hondata software. One of the two owners. Anyway, Doug, we came by earlier, and I noticed he was doing something really interesting. A lot of people have been talking to him about chute placement. I don't know if you've seen some of the drag racers. They've had the back ends pop up. Doug, you've done a lot of land speed racing. You helped me with my chute placement on mine. Yep. Tell me what you've learned.
Well, what we've learned in land speed racing is most of the people have their parachute tow lines, not the parachute packs, but the tow lines mounted in the wrong place. And it causes a lot of problems with the rear lift or the front lift, typically rear lift. So we've done a lot of analysis on our own land speed vehicles and tested them out at high speeds for the safest possible chute deployment for land speed, but not only for land speed, but for drag racing as well.
Okay. So give us a little rundown on some of the stuff you've got here.
Well, what I'd like to do is first of all show an example of a chute tow line that is mounted too low. So if the chute tow line is mounted too low, it lifts the back of the vehicle, and it's as simple as torque. And all of you know what torque is. Torque is a rotation about a point. I'll get onto that in a little bit, but if you have a look at this drag racing car here, the rear wheels are off the ground. And if the rear wheels are off the ground, any side wind from that's coming across the course will pull the back of the car sideways. Alternatively, let's look at the other extreme if the chute tow line is mounted too high. And if your chute tow line is mounted too high, it pulls the back of the vehicle down and the front of the wheel up, front wheels up. And as you can see clearly from this picture, you don't have a lot of steering control at this point if your front wheels aren't attached. So this is the extremes: tow line too high, tow line too low. How do we find the right position for mounting where the chute tow line should be? So part of the research that we did, my daughter Bridget, she did a lot of the research for this, and because of her time at Bonneville and seeing a number of crashes, let's have a look at a drag racing Civic here of our own. So this is an EG Civic, and there were a lot of problems with trying to stop straight. So first thing he did was he measured the center of gravity. We're using some long acre scales, front to right and then bottom to top. And measuring the center of gravity involves lifting the back of the car by about 14 inches, and that moves the center of gravity forward. So this red circle here is the center of gravity, meaning if the entire car was collapsed into a mass, this is where it'll all be. And in the case of this vehicle here, it's at about the top of the gear lever. So why is it important? When the parachute is deployed, for maximum stability, it has to pull through the center of gravity. So in this case, the tow line was mounted down here low, and it actually should have been mounted about almost 18 inches higher. So the owner of this car, Javier Loaca, our chief technician at Hondata, when he moved the chute, he said, chute tow line mount point, the next drag race he done, he pulled the chute, and the best part of his drag run was pulling the parachute. It stopped so straight, so even, and there was this absolutely no drama. So I've got a little note here which says 8 degrees for a 20-foot chute length. We've worked out that, and we've measured a number of different parachute deployments at Bonneville in which they're deploying the parachutes at 160 to 250 mile an hour. So we measured the chute length of these vehicles, and we measured the angle at which it pulls. So a long chute pulls at about, a 45-foot long chute pulls at about a 3-degree angle, and a short chute pulls at about a 9 to 10 degree angle. It pulls a lot higher. The size of the chute also matters. Small chute pulls at a low angle, a big chute pulls at a high angle. So this gives you a starting point of knowing what angle your chute will pull at depending on its size and depending on the line of the toe line. So we have got one other example here on our Landspeed CRX, and a lot of YouTube videos on this one. This is my wife's Honda CRX, and we do chute deployment at this at 240 to 245 mile an hour. And in this case we have a 6-degree deployment, and the toe line is mounted really quite high. So if your fabricator has built a chute toe line deployment which is just straight out the back of the car, it's more than likely way too low. But all you need to do is go to Longacre Scales, have a look at their website, use their scales, and put on all of the details like the wheelbase, tire size, and it can calculate exactly where your CG, your center of gravity, is. And if you don't know that, you don't know how to mount your chute properly. And no fabricator knows how to mount it properly unless they've measured the CG. And I don't know too many fabricators who measure your center of gravity. And as you can see from those drag racing images before, a lot of drag racers don't know how to do this either.
Yeah, I actually experienced just that with my Insight. My Insight, initially we just built a chute mount that was, or the toe line mount where I thought it should be, not really giving much thought to this. The first deployment down the track, you can see the horizon change on my in-car video. Yeah, it was pretty interestingly scary. With the next one I built, I actually built it adjustable because I hadn't measured the center of gravity yet, and I just moved it up pretty much in line with what the CRX was, and it stopped a lot more, not a lot better. Now, when I do the new Insight, I'm going to go ahead and measure the CG and get it in exactly the right place. All right, cool, guys. Actually look for this as a future episode of VTech Academy, where we go ahead and determine where the chute should be located on both my drag car and my Landspeed Insight. But Doug, thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Hey, just a quick question. Got anything new coming out from Hondata?
We've always got new stuff on the drawing board. We're working on research and development of a lot of really interesting, exciting stuff to make your Hondas go faster and more reliable, and look forward to it. When it's ready to go, we're going to make a lot of noise about it.
Excellent. Thanks again.
Thank you, Brian.